North Atlantic Coast 3.
I always forget to put me up here, man. I always forget to put me up here like an idiot. What can I say? I need to change that. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my June 26th, 110-degree day, 2025 stream. Hope everybody's had a great day. I've had an awesome day today. I don't sleep very much at night anymore, for obvious reasons. But I do okay. I've got one friend that keeps texting me and asking me if I'm okay. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Anyhow, hey, Guido and Darlene. That clock is a minute slow, believe it or not. So, and that's the Mantle clock. If my hearing aids are, working the way they're supposed to, and I think they are. But it sounds a lot like the grandmother clock. I've got to get service to this. I'm going to have to go in to this idiot store, grab the old fart by the ear and say, dummy, I can't put a grandmother's clock in my vehicle and bring it to you. You have to come to me. And yeah, you're going to screw me with the charge. I'll get over it. Come fix it. And yeah, I can take everything out of the cabinet. Well, I could if I could stand up. And I'm not going to have Scott do it because he'll screw it up because he doesn't know what he's doing. So anyway. Hey, same old, same old. Hope everybody's had a great day. Like I said, I've had an awesome day. Snowball's had a good day. She's about ready for another tub experience, which Scott does. He does a great job at it too. And I have a professional dryer, dog grooming dryer, and it has 2 motors on it. And the only thing I need to make sure of is that I put my finger inside her ear so that he can't blow air down into her ear, into the eardrum. I mean, he does a good job for blow drying the rest of her, but I just don't trust 100% that his finger won't slip. And I don't want her deaf. So, but anyhow, I've got to go to Bash's', and they've got a nice sale going on at Bash's'. And I found out they have a food country here. I don't know where the hell it's at, but they've got a food country here. How about that? Hey, Big Ben, how you doing? I've got to get the YouTube side up. So give me just a minute here. Jesus, I can't believe I forgot to bring the YouTube site up the way it goes, Now I got to get on my freaking channel. And there I am live. There you go. You're not, but you're going to be okay. Really? Really? Well, I hope you, I hope you're going to be doing okay soon. You know? That's not where I need to be. That's not where I need to be. Where the heck? I was just over on 4 days to your birthday. Hey, all right. Everybody should give Ben a happy birthday wish. If I could sing, I'd sing happy birthday to you. But I don't want the dogs and the coyotes in the neighborhood to howl, so I don't sing. Closest I used to ever sing was in the shower. And then only when I was by myself. I did it to keep from being bored, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, you're just enjoying your birthday week. Yeah, I would be too if I were you, Ben. I really would. And you can see why I had to get the YouTube side up. What was I gonna say? I don't have a freaking clue. When I was talking about your birthday and that, what I was gonna say just went flew, and it flew right out in between my two ears. I don't know where the hell it went. It'll come back. But I mean, my birthday, I had one on the 11th. I've had so damn many of them that I have unbirthdays now. So when I have a birthday, well, when you have a birthday, you add a year, right? Well, I'm too damn old to do that. I don't want to see the number anymore. So I have an unbirthday. If you have an unbirthday, in my thinking, you take a year off. And I should have started having unbirthdays when I was 50. When I went back down to 25, then I could have had birthdays again. But I just didn't think about it back then. But I do hope that you really have a good birthday and that you enjoy your birthday week. Just saying. But 4 more days, you're not that far away. Of course, you can't hold your breath that long, but in days, it's not all that much time. It's not like 4 months, 4 weeks. But I really do. I hope you have a great birthday. I've got I'm outside. Of course, you can hear the chime. And that's for the benefit of Karen Crud. Because he's such a wonderful POS. And he hates them chimes. He absolutely hates them. So anytime I come outside and there's any kind of a breeze and they're doing their thing, I mean, these are expensive door chimes or wind chimes. I spent $117 on these. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Ben. I spent $117 on these wind chimes. And because Karen Crud, you know, the guy that was on the task force, he was on a police task force. No, he wasn't. The guy that was a Houston sheriff's deputy. No, the hell he wasn't. The guy that was claims he was a U.S. Marshal. No, the hell he wasn't. Yep. But he absolutely hates these. And you people should see the size of these. See if I can get adjusted here. Let me see. We'll do this. No, we'll do that. We ain't going to do that. We're going to do this. No, we're not going to do that either. Jesus, God Almighty. We'll try that one. There they are right there. Look at the size of them suckers. See the size of them wind chimes? And Karen Crud hates them because he's nothing but a big fat liar. See there? He absolutely hates them. And I absolutely love it. I can't wait so that he can hear him some more. And I got a pretty breezy day. It's 110 degrees, but it's pretty breezy day. Hey, Trump said. I didn't say Abe was a U.S. Marshal. I said Karen Crud. That would be Little Ricky. Yeah, those are tune chimes. Spent $117 on them. I watched them for 2 years before I finally made up my mind. But no, that's Karen Crud. AKA, the biggest damn liar on YouTube. Stumpy. However you want to put it. Karen Crud. The most that I'll ever have to do to these is I'll have to replace the cording, and it's got nylon cording on it, so you know how it goes. He was never in the Navy. I keep telling you that. I know the whole story behind that. You're incorrect. He never said he was in the Navy. God, it's hot out here. What's for supper tonight? I had some of them little bitty round. Had about a half a package of those little bitty round tomatoes. That's what I had for supper. I got to go to Bash's and get a beef roast. They've got beef roast on sale, and they have pork loin roast on sale. So, I didn't. I don't know that burger I had that my live-in fixed didn't set too well with me for some reason, and I know it was good because he fixed 2 for him and he fixed 1 for me, and it just didn't set well. Black Rose, well, if you would believe anything she'd say, I don't know what to tell you, Trump said. But I know the abso-freaking-lute truth of what he did. And that is his story to tell, not my story to tell. And I know how it all happened. I know how it all came down. And I know the living hell that they put the bastards put him in. They put him through. She works for a living, my dear. She works 7 days a week, most weeks. You cook a badass burger, by God. I'll tell you what, I got the grill. I bought myself a brand spanking new grill with a electric start on it. Uh, I get you to come over here and you can. I've got some steaks in the freezer that I have to rotate the steaks out. Yeah, I used to go to her house quite often, but she works a lot of hours. Her husband works a lot of hours, so I don't take a hint very well. How do I feel about burgers? Burgers are all right. Um, I prefer a roast over a burger, and I prefer a steak over a roast. Um, you know, we went out one night and we went out to Texas Roadhouse and had steaks. It's so damn hot that my plant with the Tucson roller shades down is wilting. You prefer chicken? I don't mind chicken breast, but I don't want anything other than the chicken breast. It's like it's like turkey. I'll buy a turkey breast only. Um, I'm not buying a whole turkey. I like mine very well done. My hamburgers, very well done. So, um, and I want them in a bun. You had drumsticks off the grill for dinner. I don't like the dark meat. I don't like the taste of the dark meat, and I don't like drumsticks from turkeys either. I just don't. I'll do the wings and I'll do the breast. That's it. That's all I'll do. But anyway, Scott just I don't know where the heck he went. He told me he said he'd be back. I said okay. I don't tell him when he can go and where he can go and all that bullshit. He can do what he wants. He's a full grown man. Hey, ERR videos. Welcome. I've actually prepared, you're not going to believe me, but it's the truth. I swear to God, it's the truth. Oysters on a grill. I like just a little bit of mustard and a big, fat, thick slice of onion. Once in a while, I'll make it a cheeseburger, but not very often. So, but that's the way that goes. I listened to the song that you put up ERR videos about me. I thank you for that. That was a nice song. Um, what you do is you take like a cookie sheet, or this is what I did when I did the oysters, and you start to cook them until you flip them. And then you can take them off the cookie sheet and you can actually lay them over the wires or whatever you want to call it, the rack. And then before you do that, you get some mesquite and you get some aluminum foil and you get mesquite chips and you soak them in water. Then you put that in, wrap it up in aluminum foil, and you put that down in the grill just underneath the rack, and then you smoke them with mesquite. And out here, this damn state and this town is absolutely freaking full of mesquite trees. Yep. Something else that I have fixed on a campfire, in a wooden campfire, that's absolutely to die for, is you get corn on the cob. You pull back the husk, you remove the hair. I call it hair. I don't know what the hell you call it, but that stuff that turns brown, and that lets you know that they're ready to pick or ready to eat. You take and you get all that off of there raw, and then you put butter in there and a little bit of salt. And then you pull the husk back up, and you rip off one of the leaves of the husk, and you tie it shut. And you have a wood campfire going. And when it gets not to where the it's raging burning, but more coals than anything, shove that down in the coals and let that lay there until the husk is burnt. Then you take that out, take the burnt husks off. Man, it's to die for. It is to die for. There was a guy that lived down the street from me when I was a kid. He introduced me to that. And he used to, I don't know, he drove a truck and he would pick up day-old pastries, and they were in barrels. And then he would take that and deliver that to pig farmers who purchased that stuff. And I used to go down there as a kid, and, just depending on what he had that day, if he had cinnamon rolls or if he had cheesecake or, what the hell ever he had, donuts, it didn't matter. He'd let us, I can't do garlic. I like garlic, a little bit of garlic, but I can't do garlic. I like it. It don't like me. But you can even do field corn that way if you get it young field corn, and you can't tell it from sweet corn. And we all know how to tell the difference, right, between the leaves, what you're looking at, sweet corn versus field corn. One leaf is a little wider than the other in a different shade of green. One's a darker green and one's a lighter green. The darker green is sweet corn, and field corn is light green. So, and yeah, I was kind of bad when I was a kid. I grew up out in farm country, and I wasn't above going out in a farmer's field and swiping a half a dozen to a dozen ears. I did do that. So I guess I was a thief as a child. But, but you get that with that sweet corn and that wood fire like that, you get that wood taste in there. God, it's good. It is nothing but good. I've been getting kind of hungry for tacos. And I like the soft shells. And then I bring them home and I make sure that I've got fresh hamburger buns. And I take the tacos and I unwrap the tacos and spoon the tacos in the buns. Taco Bell used to have what they called Bell Beefers. If anybody's old enough to remember that other than me. But here's what I had for supper. There's what I had for supper right there. Ate all but that many. And again, it's 110 degrees, guys. I'm just not real hungry. I don't know why I can't get this right. That's not right. That's not right. There we go. There, I got it. Had to pick the right pew down there. I'm not above. Anymore I eat what I want to eat, and sometimes I'll just have a sandwich, and I'll buy Oscar Mayer all beef bologna, and I will make bologna and mayonnaise sandwich. Sometimes I'll just have a mayonnaise sandwich if that's what I want. Or I'll make a tomato and mayonnaise sandwich. I'm not talking about salad spread, Miracle Whip. I'm talking about real mayonnaise. Yeah, I had maters for dinner. They're cold. They're in the fridge. And I wasn't real hungry. I just figured, well, I better put something in there. But, Scott might surprise me and bring home Taco Bell. I don't know. And I've now got 110.3 degrees, guys. $110.3 degrees. 10% humidity. 79 degrees on the nozzle for inside the house with 19% humidity. Yeah. Do you remember the Oscar Mayer Wiener Mobile? You guys remember that? You forgot the T in it, Trump said. Maters. My bologna has a first name. It's OSCAR. My bologna has a second name. What is it? MAYER. Yeah. Sweet tea is awesome. I like sweet tea, but I want raspberry sweet tea. And it's getting harder and harder to find out here. It just is. Yeah, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. Remember that, guys? God, I can remember that stuff. Like I can remember my old fire chief, and I can't remember his frickin' name, and it just breaks my heart. I can't remember his name. I found him one time on Google. I Googled him. I Googled the department I work for. And I was a volunteer firefighter, by the way. Yep. And if you ask me, I will say, oh, Jesus God. And if you ask me, I will say, I can't remember. I like fried bologna sandwiches too. But then you got to take the round of the bologna. And unless you want it to bubble up in the center, You got to put slits, like 3 slits at an angle going in towards the center, and then it'll lay flat. Because Oscar Mayer, if you ask me, I will say, is Oscar Mayer has a way with BOLOGNA. I think that's the way it goes. It's been a lot of years since I've heard that. The amateur radio club that I was in back in the day, Abe and I made a little song. We had a 146 6.1 repeater. You could make phone calls on it. You had to pay dues in order to be able to get the code to trip it on and trip it off. It was a repeater, so you had 146.01 was the input, 146.610 was the output. And it just sat there and nobody was using it. I mean, and why pay dues to a club to use amateur radio repeater? Pink salmon is good too. Oh, hell yes. I'll tell you something that's even better than that I haven't had. The last time I had this stuff, my husband was alive and he died in 2006. And he hated this stuff until he had mine. And then he liked it and wanted it. And that was good old-fashioned shit on a shingle. You know what that is, don't you, Trump said? Shit on a shingle. I can't eat fish. I love salmon, but I can't eat it. I got to take 50 milligrams of Benadryl to eat any type of fish or seafood. And 25 isn't enough. I got to have 50 or I can't breathe. My throat starts to swell shut. I'm allergic to the stuff. Something you can't find out here is the dried beef. Yeah, shit on a shingle. Used dried beef, dried chipped beef. Yep, had it many, many times in the military. That's what my husband did too. And he hated it. But it comes in a jar, guys. It comes in a jar. And I got to get on Amazon and see if I can find it because I brought a jar with me. And you can serve this stuff on mashed potatoes, or you can serve it on toast, or you can serve it on bread. And if you look at it, that's what it looks like. And you got to soak this in water. See the beef in there? It's real, real salty. You have to soak that in water. This is a little juice glass. When you're done, you can use this as a juice glass. I love it on mashed potatoes. Absolutely love it on mashed potatoes. But you can't find it out here to buy it. And I've had that for years. So I'm going to have to get on Amazon and see if I can find it. Hey, Trump monkey. Yep. Yep, absolutely, Big Ben. You put that on mashed potatoes, man. There isn't anything any better than that. Out here, if you go to Bash's, you can buy yellow potatoes. The only place out here you can find them is Bash's. You can buy like a 5 or a 10-pound bag of yellow potatoes instead of being Idaho potatoes. They're not baking potatoes, but you can bake these yellow potatoes. Or you can cook them up and you can mash them and whip them and all that stuff. And they're sweet. I'm just saying. Ben says, I don't know if it's in Virginia. But, Bash's right now is having a good sale. And I have a thank you, what they call a thank you card, which is just a number. They don't give you a damn card. They need to give you a card with the number on it, member number on it. And then you get a percentage of your bill back taken off. Yeah. So I like sweet potatoes. Yep. For Thanksgiving, I like them. When I was a kid, my dad loved rutabaga. Do you know what rutabaga is? I couldn't stand that crap when I was a kid. But as you get older and you mature, your tastes mature. And he would want rutabaga every Thanksgiving. Rutabaga. You peel that, and then you cut it up in pieces, and you boil it. Then you drain it, and then you mash it, and then you put a little milk in it, and then you keep it hot. You put it in a dish and stick it in the oven to keep it warm. Most people I've ever talked to have never heard of rutabaga. It's like a turnip, kind of, sort of. It grows in the ground. Ugh. And I can remember I can remember doing this. And it just turns my stomach to think about it, to think back when I was a kid. Sauerkraut. Oh, gross. But when my German grandmother would make it, I would eat it. It tastes different. But to make actual sauerkraut, if you saw it made, you wouldn't eat it. I'm telling you. All it is cabbage and salt. That's all it is. And the scum that comes up on that, oh, God. Anyway. I've never had the sweet potato fries. I've never had that. I've had curly fries, but never sweet potato fries. And I cook all that. I cook that stuff in a what the hell do you call it? You plug it in, and you don't put oil or anything in it. It's a hot air fryer. That's what it is. So, yep. I bought myself a new Mr. Coffee. The old Mr. Coffee, the $10 Mr. Coffee that I had, the LED burnout on it, so you could never tell when it was on or off. So you had to literally come out, and I'd have to come out and look at it, put my finger on the switch so I knew if it was pushed on or pushed off. And I'll be damned, I could have tore that apart, and I could have replaced that without a problem. My only problem is I couldn't get a new LED. And I thought, for $10, bullshit. I ain't doing that. I mean, I've got the soldering iron, the professional soldering iron, and all that stuff. I mean, I've built many products. I built a I built a dual trace oscilloscope. In my when you're a ham radio operator, you have what's known as an Elmer, and he kind of puts you under his wing and leads you through until you're licensed, and you can always go back to him for any problems. So I built this dual trace scope, and I said, I don't get it. A dual trace scope is full of FET transistors, and the static that you have on your skin will blow an FET transistor. And a transistor is nothing more than a three-legged diode. You have two lines going in, feeding current in, and basically most of the time, and one line coming out, directing the current. And it's like a gate transistor or a gate diode. And a gate diode or a gate transistor, and I hope I'm not boring you, but a gate transistor or a gate diode limits the amount of voltage that will go through it. An FET transistor is a special little animal. The static electricity that you have on your skin will blow it. So you have grounding straps that go on each wrist. And then you have to hook the other end of that, the grounding strap, the other end, the opposite end of the grounding strap from your wrist is like a little alligator clip. No, I haven't been out yet. I haven't been out. I swear I'll get pictures of it when I get out there. I've got to go towards Phoenix. I went and got smokes, but I go to Nogales, which is south. Phoenix is not south. I'll get there. But I got to go towards Phoenix. I've got my old police radio that I need to take in because I don't have my dual trace scope anymore. The only test gear I've got is what Karen Crud doesn't have brains enough to know how to run, to hook up, which is a volt ohm meter that a 1 year grade school child can use. You got two leads on it, and then it's got a knob on it, and it's a continuity meter to begin with. And then it's got a knob on it, and then you just turn the knob for whatever you want it to read. If it's AC voltage, if it's DC voltage, and you've got different levels of voltage. So what can I say? Anyway, I blew all those FET transistors. And you also have to have a rubber mat on the floor and a rubber mat on the table surface that you're working with. You have to take the alligator clip and you have to ground that on the chassis of whatever you're working on. And you also have to make sure that you've discharged all of the CAN capacitors that are in that. I remember one time, when I was building this dual trace scope, had this big CAN capacitor. Well, as you're going through it and you're building it and you get to different stages of it being built, you have to take a meter and you have to test different voltages, different areas of voltage. And here's my husband. He didn't have the level of training that I had. I mean, he liked to build things too, but he didn't have the level of training that I had. Didn't have the highest higher licenses I had. It was a huge can capacitor. It was probably 3.5, 4 inches around, and Jesus God, as tall as your hand from the end of your middle finger to your wrist. And he's sitting there, and he's got and you're not using a little bitty tiny volt ohm meter either. You're using a much larger unit to measure voltage with. He's sitting there, and it's hooked up. And this unit you had to plug in, this measuring unit, you had to plug it in. You had to put your two leads together and then turn the knob and zero it out to 0. So he had his hand on the the chassis with his left hand. And I told him, Bob, don't do that. And he had the probe, and he had the minus probe on the chassis hooked to it. And he's got the other probe. He's inching into a big, huge can capacitor. What does a capacitor do? It charges up and then releases that charge at a specific voltage. And he's inching into it. Bob, don't do that. And I didn't want to startle him so that he shorted the damn thing out. Bob, don't do that. Well, he said, I got to get the reading on it. But Bob, that's not the way you do that. Don't do that. But it'll only take me just a minute. Just hang on for just a minute. Bob, don't inch into that. And about time, pow! It discharged. Knocked him all the way back across the room. God almighty. I'll never forget that. It's like I used to make my own Kahlua. If you ever have homemade Kahlua, you'll never buy that shit they sell for a mint. All it is instant coffee, sugar, water, 180 proof grain alcohol, and a cinnamon stick. And vanilla. Not imitation vanilla, the real shit. You take a small container of any kind of instant coffee. You get out a saucepan, put water in the saucepan, you get the water boiling hot, and then open the can of instant coffee and dump it in there. And you want at least a 4-ounce can. 6 is even better. Dump it in there, and then you bring the heat up until it starts to boil, and you stir it. And then you get all the scum that comes up on the top of that. Well, you got to spoon all the scum off of that. So when that's done, you take a gallon jug, glass jug, not plastic jug, glass jug. And you dump that in that jug. You take 8 cups of sugar, which is basically a 5-pound bag of sugar. And you get a bigger pot, and you boil that sugar until it gets to the candy stage. And if you pay attention, if you pay real close attention to when you're bringing that up to a boil, when it reaches the candy stage, it will be dull until it reaches the candy stage. When it reaches the candy stage, it's real shiny. You immediately take that off the heat and leave her set. Let it get room temperature. You want to know how to make vanilla ice cream coffee? Or no, vanilla ice coffee. Yeah, I don't see what anybody's got. I'd have to dig my mother-in-law up. I almost said grandmother, my mother-in-law up, and get her to explain to me why she refused to drink hot coffee. She'd only drink iced coffee. Ugh. I can't handle cold coffee, let alone iced coffee. It's got to be hot with a lot of cream. I like my coffee like I like my men, hot and really, really creamy white with a lot of cream. I've never had a Starbucks coffee ever. Never. I've never had a Starbucks coffee, and I'm 76 years old. They don't even, I mean, I've been in the airport where they've got a Starbucks thing in there in the, before you go into the gates, and just the smell of that stuff turns my stomach. So I've never ever had one of those cold coffees. Yeah. If I want something cold, I want sweet tea. I want sweet raspberry tea, I might add, which you can't find that shit out here for some reason. Brisk makes a awesome. You used to be able to buy a case of this stuff. Raspberry sweet tea in cans like soda. No, I don't see them when I go to get smokes because I'm going south to Nogales. I'm not going north to Phoenix. No, I've never tried peak tea. No. Kumanina Skara used to love green tea. I've never had that either. I'm not a tea person. Other than brisk. I like the brisk. But I want raspberry. Anyway. I got to get my charger for my chair. I got to get new batteries in this damn thing. And I'm not spending $135 a piece for 2 car batteries in it. The goddamn insurance can cover it. I can get batteries and they pay for it every 2 years. And I can't get my doctor to fax the order for repair on this chair. Anyway. Where was I going? When I go, I've got to go and take in my police radio, my handheld, and I've got to have it worked on because I don't have the test gear anymore. I don't have the test equipment. My eyes aren't worth the shit. My hands aren't, my fingers aren't, they don't do what I want them to do. You're talking surface mount technology. You're not talking the old school, resistors with 2 legs sticking out of them that were, 3 inches long, and then you just trim the length for the. You're not talking that. You're talking surface mount technology, and the way that you solder that to the board is use a hair dryer. Now I know where I was. I was talking about homemade Kahlua. You let that sugar sit and cool to room temperature. Then you dump that in the gallon glass jug with the coffee mixture. Then you take and you get the stick cinnamon. Put a couple of sticks of stick cinnamon in there. Then you get the bottle of what we used to term as diesel fuel, which is 180 proof grain alcohol. You dump that in there. Then you dump in your vanilla, your pure vanilla, regular pure vanilla, not the imitation crap, the pure stuff. Then you top it off with water to make a full gallon. Then you put the screw cap on, you open up your freezer, and you put that whole jug in the freezer. And I will guarantee you it won't freeze. It'll thicken up, but it won't freeze. And you talk about good stuff. You'll never, ever, ever. There's a dryer. It will never, ever freeze. And that used to last me 2 years. Well, my husband decided one day it was still warm. This stuff was still warm, and I had just put it all together, and I went to move to get a spot in the freezer to put it in there. And he was a beer drinker. He drank Panther piss, PBRs, Panther piss. That's what I always called it. He had been drinking PBRs. It was on a weekend, Friday night. He was off work. And he poured a 12, 14 ounce glass of this warm Kahlua. And he took a drink, took a big swallow of it. He said, "I don't see what you see in this stuff." I said, "Well, to begin with, it's supposed to be cold, Bob. You don't drink the shit warm. It's a liqueur. You know, it's a liqueur, Bob. It's not PBR." And he says, "Well, I ain't going to throw it out." So he tipped the glass up and he emptied it, drank it all down. Just go, you know. He got drunk off of that glass so bad that he was drunk all night Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Saturday night, all day Sunday, all night Sunday night, and he was still drunk Monday morning. Hey, Emo. Welcome. He puked all over everything, and I couldn't get him sober up. And I told him, I said, "I told you it's a liqueur. It's not a damn PBR, you stupid ass. You don't drink it that way." But this stuff used to sneak up on you. I mean, I could sit there and drink highball glasses all freaking evening long, and I wouldn't get drunk on it. I would not get drunk on it. My sister came up from Florida one time, and she wanted it. So I'm sitting there, use ice. You put it in a highball glass, and you put it in ice, even though it's coming out of the freezer. And some people call it a dirty bird. If you put half and half, just splop some half and half on the top. I call that a White Russian. If you don't put that in there, it's a Black Russian. You tried to get here on the main, but it's still blocked. You are not blocked in there anywhere. I cannot find you blocked anywhere in there, Emo. I cannot. I've even had Abe remote in and help me look. I cannot find you, neither can he find you blocked anywhere. You're not Google blocked. You're not. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway. So we're sitting there and we're having 5, 6 of these things, and we're not getting drunk. But I'm going to tell you what, you better be goddamn careful when you go to stand up. Because your legs will go, you'll go to take a step and your leg don't move and you just pow right on your face on the floor. But you're not drunk. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, that's what I say. God bless Bob. One of these days, before I die, I'm going to put his urn on the floor. It's I'll show you. It's a wooden box. His picture is on top of it. That one, not his military picture. There's his urn. I'm going to put that son of a bitch on the floor and I'm going to kick it all the way across. I'm going to kick that all the way across. When I met him and we got married, there's what he looked like right there. And 6 months before he died with bone cancer, that's what he looked like. And he was 65 years old. But he never got in my Kahlua after that. He never got in that again. And I'd ask him, would you like, like a white Russian, black Russian? And he'd say, I don't even want to look at that shit. Don't you even bring that around me. And I told him, I said, I tried to tell you, Bob, I tried to tell you it's a liqueur. It's not PBR. You don't drink it the way you drank it. You won't get drunk and you won't get sick if you just drink it the way you're supposed to drink it. No, I don't want no part of it. You hear me? None. My mom and dad didn't drink. I can remember my mother and my dad going out when my oldest brother got married and they went to the reception and they had an open bar and my mother had a Manhattan. I've never had a Manhattan. I don't know what the hell it tastes like. I don't know what the hell it consists of. She had a Manhattan, and between my dad and my brother, both over 6 foot, my mother was 5'4". They picked her up by the arms, and her feet were going like she was walking, and her feet were close to 3 foot off the floor. Oh, like juices and stuff. Yeah, okay. Orange juice. They drink apple juice, stuff like that. My grandmother used to make a drink that was pure English, and I wish I had the recipe for it. Use dried fruit, or not, yeah, dried fruit. Use grapes, and you'd have to cut the grapes in half, and they were dark purple, and you'd have to soak this stuff in this alcohol. And she always made that for Thanksgiving and Christmas. But you'd eat the fruit out of it with a spoon, and then you would sip the. And us kids, we used to get it. We used to little bitty tiny, like a shot glass full of it. My brother's wife used to make the best homemade eggnog. And she put alcohol in that, and that again was for Christmas. She only put alcohol in it during Christmas. And I would have a very small glass of that. It was good. God, it was good. So, my grandmother, my English grandmother, used to make homemade applesauce. And somehow the applesauce was always brown. It was never like jarred applesauce. And it was really good. It was really good. I had a very close friend who they were Italian, and they used to make all the marinara. They would can marinara sauce, and they would in the summertime with the tomatoes, you cook it down. You cook down the tomatoes. You blanch the tomatoes, remove the skin, remove the stem part, and they would cook all the liquid out of that and make canned marinara sauce. And they would do that for days. How can you make homemade applesauce? You just peel the apples, core the apples, make sure there are no seeds left in it, slice it up in chunks, and cook it until it gets the consistency that you want. Oh, absolutely. Same old, same old. Absolutely. But as I said before, I'm Greek, I'm German, and I'm English, and a touch of French Canadian. My grandfather, now I'm talking just on my mother's side, my maternal side. My grandfather was pure French Canadian. My grandmother was pure English. And she had a mouth like a razor blade. She wouldn't say shit if she had a mouthful of it. I never, ever, ever heard her swear. Not even the word damn. And if you were being a brat, she wouldn't even call you a brat. She'd call you a little imp. What the hell ever that meant. My father's side is all pure German. My mother was Greek. And she was olive complected. She was Greek. So I am Greek, French Canadian, English, and German. Just saying. My aunt, my sister's or mother's sister, was olive complected Greek. All of her children are olive complected Greek. And English, but Greek. Well, there was something in the woodpile because my grandfather was paper white French Canadian. Where did the Greek come from? You guys know the answer to that. And you don't have to be an attorney to figure it out. My German grandmother would make the best homemade chicken noodle soup you've ever put in your mouth. She'd make the best potato bread, German potato bread that you've ever put in your mouth. Melt in your mouth. She never wasted a drop of anything, not even water. She'd boil potatoes. She'd make bread every day. And she used a cook stove with corn cobs and pieces of wood in it. Just saying. God, it was good. Mm, she was a good cook. And she'd use the water from boiling potatoes to make the bread. And like I said, she made bread every day, fresh bread every day. And the bread had like a powder on it, and that was the starch from using the water from boiling potatoes. And that poor woman died in the 50s, in 1955, 56. And she never had a bathroom with a toilet to be able to go to the bathroom in her house. She had an outhouse. We had an outhouse. Old man Crippen, 2 doors down, he had an outhouse. We caught that son of a bitch in there one Halloween because he was mean. God, he was mean. His wife had passed and he was living by himself. And he'd turn the porch light on for trick-or-treaters to come and say trick-or-treat at the door. And then he'd come out and chase them off with a baseball bat. You always had like a 2x8, 2x10 laying out in the yard as for a path to go to the outhouse. And you always had a double-seater. So more than one could go at the same time, I guess. I don't know. No electric in it. We caught him out there in that one Halloween. We caught him out there. He went out to the outhouse. And us kids in the neighborhood had enough of his crap. We tipped the outhouse over with him in it, and we tipped it over on the door so he couldn't get out. So how could he get out? He had to crawl out the hole in the bottom. And we ran like hell when we tipped that over. But after that, he never turned the lights on for Halloween for kids to come to the door for trick-or-treat. He learned his lesson, I guess. Boy, did we get in trouble. Boy, did we get in trouble. And it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me. Well, he just likes the holiday, I guess. Same old, same old. He likes the holiday. You should see the idiots here. And as far as I'm concerned, they're idiots when it comes to Christmas decorations. Halloween I can see, but they don't leave them up. But you should see how people in Arizona decorate their yards for Christmas. They put the icicle lights on, along the roof, which is fine if that's what you want to do. And then they'll go out and they'll take these mesquite trees and they'll wrap lights around the trunk of the mesquite tree and go all the way up and do all the branches, and that's okay. You don't have fern trees here. You have mesquite trees with big ass thorns on them. How cold does it get in December? I have seen it go all the way down to freezing at night, maybe 29 degrees. And in the daytime, it'll run about in the 70s, middle to upper 70s. And then, of course, August is your hottest year. And my hearing aid is kicked out. I got to go stick it in the charger. It's a good thing I don't have to hear. But I'm not that far off of Mexico, New Mexico. I used to like Christmas. I used to love to give for Christmas. I used to love to buy gifts for kids for Christmas until I lost my granddaughter. And then I took my tree and I put it in the goddamn garbage can. And I took the ornaments and I broke every one of them and I put them in the garbage can. And Kumanina Ascari told me when I told her that, she decided that that's not right. And you need a tree. You need some kind of a tree. So she bugged me and bugged me and bugged me and bugged me until I bought a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. And it is in the box. And it's in the closet. And since she disappeared, I wouldn't take that goddamn thing out of that box and use it for loving her money. And she used to bug me and bug me and bug me at Christmas until I'd take it out of the box and put a new battery in it. So what am I doing for the 4th of July? The same thing I'm doing for the 3rd of July. Same thing I'm doing for the 5th of July. I can sit out here in my backyard and watch that crap if I want to see it, but I don't care to see it. I go to bed too early. And to me, it's just another day. Same as Christmas, it's just another day. And Halloween, I used to buy $80 worth of candy for kids for Halloween. And I didn't buy the cheap junk and the cheap garbage. I bought good stuff. I bought actual Hershey bars. Paydays. Stuff like that for the bigger kids, the little bitty kids. And I think that's what it's for. It's a holiday for little kids. I bought them regular M&Ms and the ones that could have the peanut M&Ms. Then they got packages of peanut M&Ms. But out here, there is no one that goes, and you'd think that this would be one of the main places that people would take their kids would be a old folks facility, or not facility, where old people live. I can remember my mother making popcorn balls, guys. God, she made awesome popcorn balls. I can remember her buttering her hands with butter, mixing that stuff together and with the popcorn, and reaching in, getting a handful, and packing it into a ball. You can't do that stuff anymore. I can remember her making anise taffy apples, only anise apples instead of taffy apples. The red hard anise apples. And that is a candy. And you you take a stick and you poke it in an apple. Well, of course, after you wash it and everything. And she would put them on a cookie sheet. She'd bake the anise candy, and then she would dunk the apple into the anise when it was candy, and then sit there and turn it and that. And man, I haven't had an anise candy apple since I was a kid. You can't find them anymore. You can't even buy them anymore. Regular taffy apples, they're all right, but it's not something I would even buy. I think last year I bought 2 of them. Walmart there carries them. Wow. Walmart here don't carry them. Harvard Beets, I've got those. I've got a case of those coming sometime in July, and they've sent me notification via email telling me that the shipment's going to be delayed, and I bought a case of jarred Harvard Beets. No, nothing tastes like homemade. Nothing tastes like homemade other than homemade. I can't remember any other kind of homemade candy that was ever made other than the anise taffy apple. The anise apples, instead of taffy apples, they were anise apples. Just saying. I can remember the dots. You remember dots? Are you old enough to remember dots on paper? They were little bitty round, different colored circles of hard candy that were stuck onto paper, and you'd peel it off the paper, and of course the paper would come with it. But it didn't matter. You ate paper and all. Yeah, I remember them. I remember them. That's about all I can remember. That's about all I can think of. If you like strawberry Twizzlers, you can still buy them. Oh yeah, Bazooka bubblegum, absolutely, with the comics on the wrapper. 2 cents for a double piece. Bazooka bubblegum. But that's not candy. That's bubblegum. But 2 cents for doubles. I can remember them. Can't find Bazooka bubblegum anymore. Juicy Fruit, 15 cents a pack. Yeah, I can remember, but I don't know. I only used Bazooka. That's the only kind I ever bought. I didn't buy Juicy Fruit and all that other stuff. I just didn't. No, I don't remember a Bar None candy bar. I remember, oh God. $100,000 bar. Of course, the milk chocolate Hershey's. Um, that's about the only two that comes to my mind right now. Hey, you PD. What kind of candy bars do you remember when you was a kid there, PD? Snickers, absolutely. My mother-in-law used to eat those frozen sugar daddies. Yeah. What were the kind that used to stick your teeth together that were like they were like gumdrops, but they weren't gumdrops? Oh, absolutely. Hey, Goldblatt's. If you ever have been in a Goldblatt store, yeah, Charleston Chews. If you've ever been in a Goldblatt store, you can buy cookies that way too. Yep, buy them by the pound, and they were they had a marshmallow wrap around a chocolate cookie. I don't remember what the hell they called them. And then they had like a real dark surface wrap around the marshmallow. Oh wow, you got access to that? You got it made. You got it made. We know who used to work at Hershey's too. You remember who used to work at Hershey's? Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Down in Florida, I was down in Florida visiting my sister. She died in 2007. I'm the only one left out of my original family. And you could smell fresh baked bread. And it was really close to her house. And I mean, that smell was coming right in the windows. And I told her, I said, where the hell are they baking bread at? She said, oh, that's right over here, she says. I said, let's go see if we can get a fresh loaf. She said, oh, they won't sell it to you. I said, why the hell not? Yeah, bar none. Wow. So we jumped in the car and we took a ride over there. And I was in U.S. Air Force Mars at that time. I've been in that for Air Force Mars. I've been in that organization for so many years. Not even funny. I was the state Mars director. I was the Region 3 director. I was a Rome officer. God almighty. I had so many positions in Mars it wasn't funny. I was over not only Illinois as being the state Mars director, but I was over the Region 3 director too. Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to. I used to be able to fly down from Greater Rockford Airport anytime I wanted to. and fly down to the base there in Illinois anytime I wanted to. Scott Air Force Base, actually. I have a plaque that was presented to me in 2002 for appreciation for the time that I've put in. But we went over to the bakery, or where it was, where they were baking the bread, and I begged for a loaf of bread. I said, I'll buy it, I'll pay for it. I said, you can't tell me that you're not putting some of this stuff in the dumpster. I said, I'll take one that you'll put in the dumpster and I'll still pay for it. They would not sell me a damn loaf of bread. You live 10 miles from a cookie factory. What was the kind of blackjack gum? Do you remember blackjack gum? They used to make that in Florida where my sister lived. And you could smell that. And then they had a plant out in Loves Park that was close to Rockford. It was the next little town up. Blackjack gum. Can't get that anymore either. You can get chocolate Twizzlers. You can get strawberry Twizzlers. You get pull and peels. But I'll tell you what, if you want licorice, good luck. Good luck. Chocolate, really? Chocolate Twizzlers? Really? Yeah, they sell that crap here. Blackjack gum, I can remember smelling that. I can remember that. God, that stuff smelled good. Yeah, those were good too. Yeah. It's funny how the good stuff that was really good, you can't buy it anymore. They don't have it anymore. They don't sell it anymore. They don't make it anymore. Yeah. No, I don't remember any Healthy Choice cookies. They still sell here Healthy Choice TV type dinners, but yeah. Yeah. Pretty neat. Chocolate Stars. Do you remember the Chocolate Stars? You used to buy those at Goldblatt's too by the pound. It had a scoop, and you just scooped what you wanted in there, and you paid so much per pound. Yeah, the Devil's Food cookies. Yeah, were the ones that they made at Goldblatt's, but you can't find them anymore. They had Devil's Food cake cookies, and then they had marshmallow wrapping around that, and then a hard crust something or other over the outside of that. My dad used to eat them Chocolate Stars, and he was diabetic. He had diabetes, and he used to eat Chocolate Stars like they were going out of style. And boy, I'll tell you what, was he a mean SOB when he ran out. My mother didn't let him run out. Yeah, that would be awesome to have someplace like that. We used to have a day old bread store too. I mean, what's the difference if you go to the store today and you buy a loaf of bread and pay $4 for a loaf of bread today, and that's what it is here. Say Wonder Bread, $4 for a 1 pound loaf of Wonder Bread. Or you go to the day old store tomorrow morning and buy that same loaf of bread because they took it back off the shelf to restock with the fresh and paid 50 cents for the loaf. What's the difference? Can't do that anymore. Yep, they didn't put preservatives in the bread. That's right. It would mold fast. Yep. Hell, any kind of food that you get now, they've got it's chock full of chemicals for preservatives. Yep. I found the little notebook that I put the note in when I took the van for the slide repair because I was getting stuck in the van. It cost me $280 for an hour for them to replace a fuse. For them to replace a fuse, and that didn't last long. That was on 2/20 of this year at 1 o'clock. I'm looking at the note, and I wound up having to take it back in less than a week. And then they put a couple of bolts in it because the chain would not stay fastened in order to be able to lift that, and then it would fold. It would come up okay, but you couldn't make it go down because it would hang up. It's just weird stuff. Yeah, pretty weird. God, I got to turn the fan on in here. It's getting hot. I know it's not, but I am. I'm getting hot. Yep. There we go. Oh, much better. Get some air moving. Oh, I can remember cinnamon bread, um, white bread, wheat bread, white rye bread. I can remember that stuff. I mean, cinnamon bread in the toaster. Oh God, that's good. You can still buy that. Yeah. My grandmother, my English grandmother, used to make English rye, and it was a round loaf, and I hated that stuff. I still won't eat that crap. God, I couldn't stand that crap. I couldn't stand it as a kid, and I still can't stand it. And she used to keep candy dishes all over the house. 4 or 5 candy dishes in the living room that were covered candy dishes, and she would put this nasty ass um, hard candy in there, and then she'd tell you, "Well, help yourself." You go get a piece of it, and she'd hear the top go back on the jar. Are you kids in that candy in there? You better get the heck out of that candy in there. Mm, God, she was mean. She was just a mean woman. You can buy a 5 pound bar of chocolate. Wow. What in the hell are you going to do with a 5 pound bar of chocolate? Is that milk chocolate or is it dark chocolate? Dark chocolate, is better for you than milk chocolate, or so they say. 15 inches wide and about 2.5 foot long. God almighty. God almighty. I wouldn't know what to do with that. You can buy it all. Wow. Hmm. I'm kind of partial to Reese's peanut butter cups. Hey, do you guys remember Reese's Pieces? What the hell was the name of that movie with the little alien phone home? God, I can't remember the name of the movie. 1.5 inches thick. Wow. Had the heartbeat song in it. RT. ET. There you go. ET. There you go. Thanks, Emo. ET. Phone home. Yep. They have a 13 inches round Reese's cup. 13 inches. Oh, that would last me probably 3 years. You'd throw it away before I'd ever get it ate. I'd go into freaking diabetic coma. Yeah, E.T. go home. E.T. phone home. E.T. phone home. God. You check that one out. And then you pat your tummy as you're sitting there chowing down on that. And you'll be back in there doing workouts to get rid of that. 13 inches round to put about 15 pounds on that tummy of yours. Just saying. Yeah, just saying. Pumpkin bread, yeah. My mother used to make a no-bake cherry cheesecake. I don't know how she did it. It's about 2 inches thick. Wow. I'll have to find out what kind of candy my grandson likes. He's got a birthday coming up in July. Just for the fun of it. You can't eat peanut butter anymore. I can eat like not a lot of peanut butter. I can put a little bit of peanut butter. I love it on toast. Instead of butter, put peanut butter on it. God, that's good. You have a dirty face, my dear. Let me see. Thank you. Now your face isn't dirty. Yeah, she needs another bath. I'll have to take a look at my phone and see when she's scheduled for another groom. Look at the site, it'll show you the store. Wow. Well, I remember somebody getting a job for somebody else at Hershey's. And they didn't bother showing up and got canned. And then they canned the guy that got him the job because he put his rep on the line to get the guy the job. And I believe if you've been around on YouTube long enough, you know who I'm talking about, both people. Yeah, I know. It makes you allergic to a lot of stuff, Emo. Yep, you're going to be spending some of that hard-earned green cash on some candy tonight. You sure are. Yep. I've got to set up. I've got to set up my body cam. I got to get that set up. Oh, damn my back. I'll bet it is. I'll bet it is 10 times fresher. I want a bread maker too. And if my daughter opens her goddamn mouth again after I get a bread maker, I'm going to uninvite her out the door. Because you can actually use a bread maker to put everything together, to make the bread, to knead it, to punch it down, raise it, punch it down, raise it as many times as you want. Then you take it out, remove the paddle, and put it in bread pans and bake it. You bet. And you don't have to buy the box stuff. You go to BettyCrocker.com and get a recipe and decide you want a pound loaf, you want a pound and a half loaf. What do you want? Yeah, the one I had did it all too. My daughter told me, she don't like things sitting on her counter. She don't like clutter. No. That's really bad. Bad. Clutter's bad. If you haven't used it in a month, throw it out. You don't need it. Okay? I didn't use my bread maker every day. I used it on occasion. If I wanted cinnamon raisin bread, I would make it. Yep, I know how it goes, Emo. I don't know why you couldn't. Go to BettyCrocker.com. Look up pumpkin bread. Get the recipe. Throw the ingredients in the bread maker and let the bread maker make it. Why not? Just pay attention to what you're going to use for raising, for the yeast. Get cake yeast. Don't get that other shit. Get cake yeast. It works better. Yeah. I've got to go get some more lens wipes. I know that. For my phone and my glasses. If anybody would like to put some Tampax purchases together, Rick Crude's, he's always in for gifts. Oh my God. Can't believe I said that, but I did. Banana bread is awesome, yeah. You can make wheat bread and use the recipe for wheat bread. Substitute half the flour for white and the other half for wheat flour, and it makes a pretty good loaf of bread. You can buy the same thing as Sara Lee makes that. It's called white wheat. Again, BettyCrocker.com. Yep. That's for sure. I mean, you used to be able to look up recipes on that without having to pay for the recipe or pay a subscription for the BettyCrocker.com. That or go buy a damn Betty Crocker cookbook. Yeah, I know. I know. You need a donation for this stuff? Yeah, I know you're joking. I know you're joking. I bought my granddaughter a 12 cup Mr. Coffee pot that was on sale. A regular 12 cup on off coffee pot was $10. So that's what I had bought. And she needed a coffee pot. She needed a new coffee pot. So I bought her a 12 cup Mr. Coffee with the brew button on it. Um, and then you could set it up for coming on at a specific time, and then it goes off in 4 hours. That was $7 more. So for $17, I bought her that. It was on sale. And I thought I need a new coffee pot because the light went out in it. Went back. Good evening, Gone Fishing. You've got a wrench? What are you talking about? Gone Fishing, you got a wrench? I used to have a Keurig coffee pot and I couldn't stand it. I gave it away. I got that for Christmas one year. I gave it away. Regifted it. Um, then they came out after I got rid of it. Then they came out. You could with the Keurig cups for hot chocolate. Keurig makes it. The Keurig cups for hot chocolate are absolutely fabulous because they didn't. All you could make was coffee, and I don't like strong coffee. I can't drink strong coffee, so I gave it away to my granddaughter. Yeah. I asked her if she wanted it. She says, sure. They got Keurig hot tea ones too. Yeah. Well, now you can even buy the standard Keurig cup and put ground coffee grounds in it. Never used to be able to do that stuff. But then I don't drink just one or two cups. I drink 12. It's several times a day, I might add. Yeah. Just saying. Yep, I had went ahead and bought a 12 cupper, man, and I'll make 2, 3 pots of that stuff a day. I'll get up in the middle of the night and want a cup of coffee, and I'll go out there and I'll nuke a cup of coffee. I'll put it in my Contigo cup, and it'll stay hot for the rest of the night because I've got a Contigo cup for coffee, and I've got Contigo cup for ice water next to the bed. But well, they've got Gone Fishing. They've got the little. Their standard size Keurig cups, and you put in there whatever you want. Any kind of you can put in coffee grounds for drip, or you can put in any strength you want for instant coffee. You know, if you drink that garbage. I mean, I can't drink that stuff. I don't drink strong coffee. My daughter claims I drink warmed over piss for coffee. And I just look at her and I think, well, that's your opinion, you know? Just the way it goes. Yeah, I don't like instant coffee. Well, the only thing I have ever used for instant coffee for is to make my own Kahlua. So you've had a bun for years. Buns are good coffee makers. I tried to get my husband to plumb in the regular uh, bun coffee maker where you'd have 3 or 4 pots you could set up and make. Um, and he wouldn't do it. He says, "No, I'm not doing that." I've had a Pyrex coffee maker, my God, from the 70s that was Pyrex. And you put that on the stove. It had the Pyrex stem, the Pyrex basket, the Pyrex pot itself, the Pyrex lid. You cook it on the stove and bring it up and it'd boil. And my mother used to put an egg. She'd make coffee in that damn Pyrex pot, and she would crack open an egg and put it in there on top of the grounds and then cook it. And I said to her, "What is the purpose? You've got to tell me. There has to be a reason that you do that." And she says, "It takes the scum out of the coffee." I said, "What do you mean it takes the scum out of the coffee?" Now, this is regular coffee grounds. And she says, "I'll show you." And she made a pot of coffee because I was there. She made a pot of coffee without the egg in it. And the coffee gets a scum on it when it sits before you can drink the whole pot. Why can't you just leave me the hell alone? What are you talking about, Patriot, PD? I can remember going to a truck stop um, for coffee because they had really good coffee at this truck stop back in Rockford. It's just outside of Rockford. Well, why can't my daughter leave me alone? I don't know. She wants things her way. All I can tell you. She wants things done her way. I says, I got a round glass coffee table in my living room, and I've got bills and medication, and I got paid bills, medication, and bills to pay on that. And why don't you just clean that off? I said, if I wanted it cleaned off, I'd clean the fucker off. I don't want it cleaned off. I know where stuff is, and you're going to leave it alone. Don't know what to tell you. I have stuff in the kitchen on the counters. I absolutely freaking do. All the bottom counter cabinets are full. And I can't stand up to put the shit in the top ones. And I'm not gonna tell Scott, get your ass out there and clean my kitchen. I'm not. And if people don't like it, you could kiss my ass. How about that? IHOP if it's fresh. Only if it's fresh. But this truck stop where you could go and you could get I can't even remember the damn name of it. It's been that many years ago. You could get fresh cooked food, and it was good food, and they had showers in there if you were traveling. You could go in there and take a free shower. Um, Went up to the coffee area to get coffee, and there was a goddamn cockroach that went right across the stainless steel counter and underneath the coffee pot area. I was done. No more. But I just can't. It's if you don't have a gallbladder, and that's what I blame it on. Because I used to be able to drink strong coffee when I was younger, until I had my gallbladder out, and after that, it makes me sick. I can't drink strong coffee. Just can't do it. It's just the way it is. I want to find, and the only place I know of to go to do this, I want to find a cover for my new iPad. It's bigger than my old iPad. And I don't know where the hell to go other than Best Buy to even find a cover that'll fix it. Holy crap, no free showers anymore. They're $18 to $25 now. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's absolutely flipping nuts. I like IHOP pancakes. They have what they call pigs in a blanket, or used to anyway. Um, hey Patriot, do you remember? Do you remember who was told they could take a shower with the garden hose outside of the house? Do you remember who that was? I remember who that was. The guy that used to do the window cleaning, and he went to oh crap. What's the name of that channel? He eats deer brains and deer tongue, and oh gross. Uh I'll think of it. I'll think of it. He told the guy that he could go shower outside of his house with a garden hose. The guy that he told that to, Flying J, that's it. Flying J, that was the truck stop. Well, the only thing I'm going to purchase is a maximum of 18 gallons of gas, and you're not going to get a free one for that. But that's the best way to keep awake, is if you're traveling, you stop at a damn Flying J, you go in and eat. You can even get prime rib in there, for Christ's sake. A complete meal, and take a damn shower. It's been that long since I've traveled like that. But that's when I was going back and forth from in by Chicago out here to Tucson. I'd stop at that Flying J. And there's Flying J's all along the way. Roadhog. Roadhog Kennel. That's the station or the other station that told this guy that cleaned windows. That's what he did for a living, cleaned windows. He could take a shower with a garden hose out in front of his house. Wow, they got very few truck stops there. Wow. Huh. But I mean, it's a 28-hour drive, guys. Yep, I'm going to do that in just a couple minutes here. I know I'm over time. It's a 28-hour drive to drive from Tucson to in by Chicago, where I lived, in Rockford. And the best way to stay awake is to have a shower. I'm just saying. But I'll be damned if I would pay that for a shower. Bullshit. Over the Road Bandit, Gentry and Son, and FSC Trucking. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Well, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I'm 12 minutes over, basically. So we'll see you again tomorrow night. Anybody, you got nothing better to do, stop on by. In Tennessee, it's like $6. Yeah. You got to plug up the battery charger. Okay, plug in the battery charger, I think is what you're trying to say. Yeah, I've got mine plugged in. It's charging. My laptop is charging as we speak. Everyone have a great evening. Enjoy the hell out of this outro. You're going to see Lou Stefano, the good old shit stain himself, getting rolled by the Border Patrol. I love it. Love it. You know, the good old shit stain, the one that takes a dump in the toilet, took his boxer shorts off with the shit stain, and that's how I named him, the shit stain, up his boxer shorts, took a dump in the toilet on the air, and then stood up and turned the camera around so that you could see the load that he dumped in the toilet. That, I'm telling you, that is what he called content. So be sure and enjoy that part of it, of my outro. He's getting rolled by the Border Patrol because he thought he was going to go in there in a restricted area and tell them what he was going to do. And it didn't work out too well for him. Yeah, good to see you too. It's good to see you too. So pay particular attention to that in the outro. Also, you'll see a picture of me. The only part of me that picture is my head and my hair. That's it. Betsy Peeler made that for me. And this is the way I used to talk to people in that picture. Shut the fuck up, bitch. That's what it says. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Pay particular attention to that. You're going to love it. I love it. I love my outro. I love my intro. I will never change it. It's 48 seconds long, and when it's done, the stream ends. It's automatic. That's the way it's set up. Everybody have a great evening. We'll see you later. Please, before you take off, give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down, but give me a thumbs. I don't care which. Love you guys, and here we go.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Better stop, Ryan. Coming for you.
just think it's so funny.
No!
Viewer
We
discretion
are
is
federales,
advised.
you know, the mountain police.
If you're the police, where are your badges?
Badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.